रेडियो मधुबन 90.4 एफएम देख रहे हैं आप, सुन रहे हैं आप। जी हाँ दोस्तों, बहुत सुंदर जो ये सीरीज़ चल रही है यूथ स्किल डे, एक दिन होता है यानी कि 15 को हम मनाते हैं, 15 जुलाई को पूरा विश्व मनाता है। लेकिन हम प्रयास ये कर रहे हैं रेडियो मधुबन पर कि बहुत सारी स्किल्स हैं, बहुत सारे हुनर, कौशल हैं, जो किसी के हाथों में हों तो जीवन बदल दें। और कभी-कभी वो कौशल के बारे में हमें जानकारी सही नहीं मिल पाती है दोस्तों। तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमारे युवाओं को, बच्चों को या बड़ों को भी जिन्हें भी सीखने का मन हो, इच्छा हो, उन्हें जानकारी मिले। और आज एक ऐसी ही स्किल के बारे में हम बात करने वाले हैं, बड़ी अनूठी, अनोखी स्किल है। दोस्तों क्या आपने कभी क्विलिंग का नाम सुना है? अगर नहीं तो इंतज़ार कीजिए और सुना है तो आज का सेशन बहुत ही मज़ेदार होने वाला है। जी हाँ दोस्तों, आज हमारे साथ जुड़ गई हैं निकिता जी, जो कि कैलिफ़ोर्निया से जुड़ी हैं और आपको बता दूँ दोस्तों बहुत सुंदर क्विलिंग आर्ट करते हैं और उनकी एक वेबसाइट भी है जिसका नाम है पेपर स्वीटली। तो आइए उनका वेलकम करते हैं। वेलकम निकिता जी।
Hi, Arushi. How are you?
आई एम गुड, हाउ आर यू?
I'm good, thank you.
So, I have given a brief introduction about you to our audience and about the website Paper Sweetly, and you live in California, and you're Indian, and you are doing such wonderful, beautiful work that I have seen. But today, our audience will also be able to witness that. So,
Sure.
I think they're very, very lucky today to have you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so glad. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Nikita ji, when we talk about quilling,
Yeah.
uh, we know it as a word. Few of us might know it, but many of us are not aware of what the concept of it is. So, can you explain a little bit the basic terminology? What is quilling?
So, quilling is basically done using strips of paper. So, this is a very ancient art back to 1920s or 30s. We really don't know the exact origin of the art. Some records say it's from Arab countries, and some records say it's from Italy. So, as far as I know, it is from it started in Arab and later it moved to European countries. So the nuns used to cut the gold gilded papers from the books, like the edges, and they used to use the those strips of paper to decorate like beautiful stuff in the church, and it was like their favorite pastime. So basically, it's like strips of paper, roll them with using your fingers and turning them into different shapes. Mostly it was using the fingers back in those days, but right now we have like lots of tools around, everywhere in the world. Like people are picking up slowly the art.
ओके, दैट्स सो ब्यूटीफुल। मैं आई वुड लाइक टू टेल माय ऑडियंस, जो भी हमारे श्रोता मित्र हैं दोस्तों, जैसा कि निकिता जी ने हमें ये बताया कि जो स्ट्रिप्स होते हैं पतले-पतले पेपर के, उनको रोल करके बहुत सुंदर डिज़ाइन्स और पेंटिंग्स और ज्वेलरी पता नहीं क्या-क्या बनाया जाता है, बहुत सुंदर होते हैं। एंड पेपर स्वीटली ये वेबसाइट का लिंक भी हम आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे, तो आप खुद देख भी पाएँगे कि वो क्विलिंग आर्ट क्या होती है एंड वो कैसे बिज़नेस बन सकता है, उसके साथ हम क्या कर सकते हैं, निकिता जी से जानेंगे। Nikita ji, you explained us what is the concept of quelling is. So we know, okay, there are strips of paper, but then strips of paper, how can we convert it into something like so beautiful, a painting or a jewelry? Because it's like rolling something. How could we create that?
Oh, it's just like painting with paper. So, how you brush the strokes, like using the paper, it's just the same thing, but you create patterns using the quilling. So, you can create endless shapes using paper. Like you don't have any limits on it. So, just rolling the paper and turning them different shapes and create the pattern you have in your mind is just like it's almost like painting with paper.
Wow, that's so That's like very well explained. It's like painting with paper. It's such a unique thing.
Yes, yes, yeah. I call it as painting with paper. A lot of people doesn't know quilling, so I explain them saying I create, yeah, huge, huge patterns it's almost like if you look at it from far, you can't even tell it's paper. It's just like the shading and everything just beautifully done with paper, using the paper. So I call it painting with paper.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Nikita ji, you explained as like it's like we are dreaming about or we are thinking about it in our minds. But if you want to see it,
Mhm.
can you please share the link of your website so that our listeners or our viewers maybe click on that and see it
Sure.
simultaneously? Maybe you
Uh,
can tell us also.
Sure. My website is www.papersweetly.com. You can see all my creations there. But if you want to watch my YouTube channel, like how I make some of those patterns, feel free to go to my YouTube channel. It's again Paper Sweetly. I have some videos. I'm still working on putting more videos there, but I have some videos. You guys can find. I personally sell DIY kits if you guys want to learn, but you can find stuff in India as well. Because I learned this when I was in India. After I got married, like I moved to California, and it was my hobby back then. So it all the tools are now available in India. So feel free to go to Amazon or anywhere, like buy some stuff and start quilling.
Yeah. Of course, we should start if you want to, you should start now.
Yeah.
एंड दोस्तों निकिता जी ने बताया कि उन्होंने इंडिया में यानी भारत में जब वो थी तभी क्विलिंग को बनाना एज़ अ हॉबी शुरू कर दिया था एंड उनकी जो वेबसाइट है पेपर स्वीटली है, यूट्यूब चैनल भी है और कई अन्य माध्यम से आप सीख सकते हैं, क्विलिंग को देख सकते हैं। एंड निकिता जी हमें थोड़ा-सा डेमोंस्ट्रेट भी करेंगे बट एक और क्वेश्चन उससे पहले उनसे पूछते हैं। Nikita ji, when you started quilling, like when you got introduced to this concept, how you took it? Matlab, was it new or was it something very surprising or you instantly fell in love with this?
It's pretty new actually. I'm a person who loves to live like eco-friendly and sustainable life. And I was working for my dad, and my it was so stressful at my dad's business. Though my dad was boss, it was stressful at that time. And I thought I just need a hobby which can reduce my stress, like a fun thing to do when I have some time. So I actually saw one of my friends. She was doing this quilling, she was just starting, and I happened to visit. I felt like it's pretty interesting. Like when I saw her doing it, and I visited a museum nearby and I saw quilling again there. I didn't really get a lot of information there, but I actually have this habit. Like if I see something, I capture them in my mind. So I actually looked at all the designs like very neatly, and I was like, okay. I came back home, got the supplies, and I started doing. Initially, they were disaster. Everything I made was like my mom was like, maybe this is not your thing. Don't waste anything. Um, but it took some time, like I would say more than 1 or 2 months, like to get really good at it. My mom and I are very I would say we are perfectionists. Like my mom wouldn't be happy if I'm like just doing the regular kind of, and so it took some time, like really to get good at it. Even I right now I hear from everyone saying, "Oh my God, how do you do it?" It's like it needs a lot of time, but every time I practice it, it doesn't look like as you do it. But it's just mostly practice about that. So yeah, I was like, I started doing, and there was like Mother's Day coming around. I made some cards for my mom, and she asked me like make some stuff for my friends as well. So I made some stuff for her friends, like, and eventually for some friends, and then I started to do earrings, which was like, I thought very fun because I used to like big earrings, not anymore now though. I used to like really big earrings, and I want them to be very lightweight. Like the earrings are usually pull your ears down. So I thought, why not paper? Like, because it's so lightweight. So that's when I started doing the earrings my first time, and I gave some gifts to my friends, family. They loved it actually. So yeah, it this was all in India. After I got married, I moved to US, and obviously I was bored here. And my husband was like, "You have this talent, which is pretty nice. Maybe you should practice more. We will think about." Maybe something like a business in future if you're doing really good at it. So that's how all the papers weekly has started.
Okay. That's a beautiful journey, and there are few points I want to explain to our listeners or
Mhm.
viewers. दोस्तों निकिता जी ने कहा कि कोई भी आर्ट आपको जब शुरुआत होती है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप तुरंत उसमें बहुत अच्छे हो जाते हैं, लेकिन इंतज़ार कीजिए, पेशेंस और बहुत सारा अभ्यास, प्रैक्टिस आपको परफेक्ट बनाती है और दूसरों से अलग हट के करने के लिए मेहनत, प्रैक्टिस बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। आइडियाज़ आते हैं तो उन पे इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भी होना चाहिए एंड निकिता जी सच अ वंडरफुल थिंग दैट यू प्रैक्टिस्ड अ लॉट
Yes.
you just even if we consider something as our hobby, we think okay when we'll get free time we'll do it.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
not about a lot of practice sometimes, it's
Yeah.
just but you took it like that, you
Yeah,
practiced a lot.
because like I said, I'm a perfectionist. If I'm doing something, I need to do it right. So I actually had to like I didn't create any good piece before I felt like this shape was perfect. Okay,
Okay.
I'm making this basic shape in a right way. Till I get till I practice till I get that feeling. So once I was like very happy with those basic shapes I learned, then I'm like, okay, now I'll start creating. I see a lot of people like just they learn like watching from videos. They'll practice like 1 or 2 days, and they'll be like, oh, we created, we want to sell, but they're not selling because the quality is very important. Like the way you present is very important. I get a lot of questions like on my social media, why am I not able to sell? Like why am I not able to do as you are able to do? Because you need practice. Practice really helps like to get good at the art.
Right. Practice always helps, and you get a lot of questions, as you said. Uh, but the only thing we want to, yeah, practice is essential. But then why quilling is so? I mean, you told us ki you are like, you like to save water or to save paper. We always talk about it.
Mhm.
Maybe this art is also eco-friendly, so we can give a little bit more thought to it.
Mhm.
So, can you show us a little bit what the paper look like or
Yeah,
how?
sure. So basically, I use like paper strips like this. Were you able to see?
Yes, yes,
So
we are
these
able.
are the paper strips. These are actually already colored, and they come in pre-cut strips like this. But when I started working with magazine paper, so or newspaper. I cut myself paper. Like I started with magazine paper. Like you can use any kind of paper. That's like when I said that it's sustainable fashion or sustainable art. Like you can use like. Paper from magazine, like any leftover papers, like maybe you're printing like tons and tons of paper and you might not use a lot of them. You can use all those as well. I actually started doing with all of those. But when I started business, I wanted to be more nicely shown, so I needed colors. But here in US, there is a website where they sell 60% recycled paper for just for quilling. So right now I am using that paper, but other than that, like usually it's not recycled paper. But if you want to be more sustainable, like eco-friendly, you can use all the magazine paper. So I the paper strips can be like this thin, much more thinner, and they might be wider as well sometimes. So it depends on the piece I'm working. I pick what is the right size for this piece, and I work on that.
Okay. These are the paper strips, and you roll them into the designs?
Yes, I
Uh,
actually use a tool like something like this. It has like tiny slot, like very tiny slot in the needle. So I put paper through this, and I roll it. Mm, So I don't, yeah, like that, it goes into the slot like that, and I start rolling it. This is for like tiny pieces of paper I use this, but when I'm doing art pieces, I have to use my fingers. I have like very right amount, I should have very right amount of nails. Like this shouldn't grow taller than this, like, or shorter than this, it wouldn't help me with my art. So everything is like connected, like even with the nails, my fingers, everything I need like sometimes I get bruises like when I'm rolling the paper. So it's like everything is connected. So I just roll with paper with my fingers, or a tiny tool like this. This is called slotted quilling tool. So you can use whatever is comfortable for you.
okay. So I think what we do is
Okay.
we sorry, when we roll these things, I mean, if we are starting initially for a person who is just starting it for the first time,
Okay.
so what would you advise them how to go? Because paper is delicate and and it takes a lot of patience also. So
Oh
what would you
yeah.
advise?
So, yeah, like I said, like, watch a lot of videos. You guys are lucky. There are like tons of videos on YouTube these days. When I learned quilling, there were no videos, anything. I figured out all the techniques myself. But watch a lot of videos, and watch how the artists are holding the paper, how holding the tool. That will be really helpful. Just not the design or pattern. Like they accidentally show their tips as well in the video when they're doing the videos. So you just watch everything how the video is shown, and practice a lot. It's okay to waste some paper, and when you want to be really good at it, just keep practicing until you feel, oh wow, this looks exactly the same I saw in the website. Yeah, you should have a goal. Okay, I want to do something like this artist is doing, I want to do something like that artist is doing, I want to be very perfect at this, or something like that. So when you're doing just hold the paper, make sure sometime you get paper cuts, but don't roll really fast. Kind of do it at a normal pace, and pick the right tools, right paper, the quality of the paper. If you feel like you're comfortable, like you initially don't want to spend too much money on any of this, just get one slotted tool which helps you in the beginning, and start with using cut magazine papers. That way you can reuse the waste paper left in your house. Cut the magazine papers and turn them into like I started using the quilling tool, and start creating, like, make the basic shapes, like till you feel you're perfect at it, and then go for creating patterns.
Okay,
That's, yeah, that's, I would say that practice is best thing.
practice is the key.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you said ki we can take the magazine paper, so we should
Uh-huh.
cut it into like very fine strips, or they can be of like any size.
Any width, any width. Usually they can start from 3 mm width. I use paper 1.5 mm, like 3 mm. So, but for the learners, I would say 5 mm also would be good. You can go up to 1 inch paper as well. But yeah, initially, like holding the very, very tiny paper will be a trouble. So you can start with 5 mm paper. Once you get a good grip on like how you're doing it, you can go, you can adjust the width of the paper according to your interest. There are like very nice good quality paper cutting tools as well, or just use a sharp knife like exacto knife or something to cut papers. You can actually start doing learning this like with the bare very minimum amount of money spending on it.
That's so nice because when youngsters want to explore a skill,
Mhm.
it's like we have to invest a lot, and when we
Yeah.
are not in a position to do that, तो how can we learn? And you said it's so beautiful. You start practicing. तो दोस्तों मैं आपको बता दूं कि आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. निकिता जी ने कहा कि आप अपनी मैगजीन के छोटे-छोटे जो स्ट्रिप हैं उसको कट कीजिए और थोड़ी बेसिक शेप बनाने से शुरू कीजिए और उसकी आप बहुत कुछ बना सकते हैं. Nikita ji, I have two pictures with me. I took it from
Okay.
your website and I want to show to our audience. And this is what I think you have made.
Yes.
The earrings.
Yes.
So, it's so beautiful.
Uh,
As आप
it,
लोग- yeah.
it's called Flower of Life earrings. If you guys are familiar about the sacred geometry, Flower of Life is a very important pattern. It connects to the human life. I am kind of a person who likes sacred geometry stuff a little bit. So that's how the I created the pattern.
ओके और दोस्तों ये कितने इयररिंग्स हैं जो पेपर के पतली-पतली स्ट्रिप से उनको मोड़ के बनाए गए हैं, तो आप देख सकते हैं कि इनकी कितनी डिमांड है आगे भविष्य में एंड आप इन्हें सीख सकते हैं बेसिक शेप से स्टार्ट करके. यू कैन मेक इट अ बिज़नेस मगर आप इसको पहले ध्यान से सीखने की कोशिश करें. देयर इज़ अनदर वन निकिता जी.
This is mandala, like rangolis for us, we should say. That's another version. I used actually for this, I used 5 mm quilling paper. So the thickness of the papers, like I mean, the sturdiness of the papers, they vary. Depends upon the shapes we are doing. Like I have used like two different thickness of the papers there, and it's a one and it's a most selling design. I should say.
Wow, it's so beautiful. I mean, we want to look at it again and again. It's
Thank you.
so beautiful, it's so colorful, it's so lively, and it's just amazing.
Thank you.
So दोस्तों आप देख सकते हैं कि इसमें कितने कलर्स भी हैं, कितनी वैरायटी है एंड इसको भी आप एक हॉबी ही नहीं बल्कि आप अपने एक रोज़गार का ज़रिया भी बना सकते हैं। बट हमें सीखते जाना है, निकिता जी हमें सिखा रहे हैं जिन्होंने ये बनाया है एंड दोस्तों हम शेयर करेंगे पेपर स्वीटली की जो वेबसाइट है एड्रेस आपके साथ कमेंट बॉक्स में। सो वील शेयर योर वेबसाइट एड्रेस इन द कमेंट बॉक्स सो दैट आवर viewers can click it and they can see a lot of it and you have made
Sure.
so much.
No, thank you.
Nikita ji, when a person is starting, what shapes you would recommend to start with?
So there is a list of basic shapes to learn. They're called. I would recommend like 5 or 6 of them, like tight coil, loose coil, and teardrop. Markers, like some 5 to 6 shapes like that. I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you'll get a list of it.
Okay.
So if you closely when if you check the basic shapes, and if you closely look at my art, all my art is bunch of basic shapes together. That's it. Yeah, it looks complicated, but it's all about how you put those basic shapes to use. There is no magic in this, or there's nothing something like you cannot create, but it's just the basic shapes. Like mostly my most used one is like tight coil, there's no complicated shapes in this. Like definitely, I would say there's no complicated shapes, so you can basically learn anything like teardrop, Marcus, triangle, like diamond shape. These are the basic shapes. If you start doing that, like once you can start creating patterns with those basic shapes.
Okay. Nikita, can you show us a little bit how to, if we can roll
Sure.
and create any
Sure.
simple shape?
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure. Can you see? Is it
Yes.
visible?
Yes. The half of paper is visible. Uh,
Okay, let me see. Okay, give me a minute. Sorry.
नो प्रॉब्लम। निकिता जी इज़ एडजस्टिंग द कैमरा फॉर अस। निकिता जी हमारे लिए कैमरा एडजस्ट कर रहे हैं। एंड दोस्तों, क्विलिंग आर्ट बहुत सुंदर कॉन्सेप्ट है। आप अगर देखना चाहें तो गूगल पे सर्च करके देख सकते हैं, यूट्यूब में देख सकते हैं। एंड आज हम निकिता जी से बात कर रहे हैं, देखेंगे कैसे बनती है, वो हमें बेसिक शेप सिखाएँगे भी और उसके बाद हम प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं अपने घर में जो पेपर्स हैं, उनकी स्ट्रिप्स कट करके, उनकी शेप्स बना के एंड वी कैन सी कि हम आगे इसमें कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या? लेकिन पेशेंस चाहिए दोस्तों, तुरंत-तुरंत सब कुछ नहीं होता है। सो येस, हमें प्रैक्टिस करनी है एंड निकिता जी इज़ हियर, तो देखते हैं वो हमें क्या सिखा रहे हैं। आज कूलिंग आर्ट के बारे में, आप अगर आर्टिस्ट हैं, आपको कलर्स पसंद है, आपको पेपर से कुछ करना पसंद है, आई थिंक दिस इज़ फॉर यू। आप सीख सकते हैं। निकिता जी हमारे साथ पेपर का जो है वो तैयारी कर रही हैं एंड तैयारी की ज़रूरत पड़ती भी है दोस्तों। निकिता जी ने अब तक जो हमें सिखाया है, उसको भी अगर हम रिफ्लेक्ट करें, तो मुझे लगता है हम कूलिंग आर्ट के बारे में बहुत कुछ जान जाएँगे। और आज का जो समय है वो सस्टेनेबल टाइम है, यानी कि हम जानते हैं कि पानी बचाना, हमारे रिसोर्सेज़ को बचाना, बिजली बचाना, हर चीज़ को बचाना, पर्यावरण को बचाना कितना ज़रूरी है। तो ऐसे में ये आर्ट हमें सस्टेनेबिलिटी की तरफ भी लेकर जाती है। एंड आप देख सकते हैं वो धीरे-धीरे रोल कर रहे हैं निकिता जी। एक रेड कलर का जो स्ट्रिप है, पेपर स्ट्रिप है, उसको रोल करते जा रहे हैं एंड वॉव!
Okay, so that's a tight coil we call. So we when I roll till the end of the paper, and I'm using a tiny bit of glue here, and just to stick the paper to the roll.
ओके।
So that's a very basic shape.
ओह!
You can actually create like very pretty patterns with this. Like I was thinking of showing much complicated one, but maybe I'll show you how to do a base use this one basic shape and create a pretty pattern out of it today.
Sure, sure. I think that would be great.
Yeah, so you'll get an idea what exactly uh, you can create with the basic one of the basic shapes.
Yes. सो हम अपने रोल कर रहे हैं और ऐसे बहुत सारे शेप्स क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। दिस इज़ कॉल्ड टाइट कॉइल।
Yes, this is the tight coil, which is a very basic one.
ओके। तो दोस्तों ध्यान से देखिए कैसे रोल कर रहे हैं निकिता जी, कूलिंग का एक पैटर्न बनाने के लिए।
I'm making like seven shapes, seven rolls like that.
ओके।
Yeah, it's a bit time taking one. Even a tiny piece takes some time, but you love the products like when you're done with it.
You will be loving how the paper is actually it's rolling and making like small circle. It's still looking so beautiful.
And it's super fun for me. It's like doing meditation.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like my work, my pastime, and my stress buster. Everything. This one is.
Wow, that's so nice. So, you when you do it, I think the time you took earlier, like it has been a different way you do it.
Uh, what is it? Sorry, I didn't get.
Uh, when you started it, you must have been like taking a lot of time for this, and now you take less time because you are experienced. So our
Yes.
listeners or viewers can understand that because you have been doing as a business, so maybe you're taking a less time. But
Yeah.
then when they will do, they have to, precision is very important.
Yes. Yes. Precision is very important, and patience till you feel like this is a perfect shape. Just keep doing. Don't
Just keep
lose your
doing
hope.
it.
I know, like a lot of people, they try to do it and they'll be like, oh God, I got some cuts. I'm
Mm,
not doing this anymore. But a little hurt is okay when you want to learn the best thing.
right. थोड़ी चोट लगती है दोस्तों, पर आप करते रहें। निकिता जी ये बोल रहे हैं पेपर कट हो सकता है बिकॉज़ बहुत पतला पेपर है एंड टाइनी शेप्स से बड़ी शेप्स आपको क्रिएट करनी है। बट देन अगर आप सीखना चाहते हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत हर्ट हो, लेकिन आप सीखते ज़रूर जाइए और पेशेंस के साथ करिए। एंड आप देख सकते हैं दोस्तों कितना रोल वो प्रिसाइज़ली कर रहे हैं कि इधर-उधर नहीं जा रहा है पेपर, वो एक के पीछे एक ही है एंड वो थोड़ा-सा ग्लू, बहुत ज़्यादा भी नहीं, ताकि वो पेपर को ख़राब भी नहीं करे और चिपक भी जाए।
So I got like 7 rolls of this, and I'm gonna glue them to the back of the paper.
ओके,
On one side of the coil, put a little glue and stick it on the paper. I'm looking for where you can see. Okay.
सो व्हाट आर यू मेकिंग विद दिस निकिता जी? आई व्हाट शेप?
I'm planning to make a tiny basic flower vase kind of thing.
ओके,
Sorry. Like,
दैट्स so we have to put like little, very little glue. If we
yeah.
put like a lot of glue, then the paper could get like, uh, it get melted or it may get a
It
little.
doesn't get melted, but the cleanliness adds more quality to your work. So usually, if you what happens is if you put overglue, like when you put on the paper and stick it, it might pop out on the from the sides. So that's why I prefer like to put right amount of glue.
Okay. And you're using to put, you're using a very little stick to put the glue.
Yes, glue will do its job. So you just have to do the right amount. Never worry about, oh no, the glue won't be enough if you don't put enough. That makes you put more glue actually. But no, right amount of glue is required. That's all you need.
राइट, राइट अमाउंट ऑफ ग्लू सो द क्लीनलीनेस इज मेंटेन। दोस्तों, सफाई रखने के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ग्लू नहीं, लेकिन जितनी ज़रूरत है उतनी ही ग्लू का इस्तेमाल करें।
So
एंड
now I'm gonna take yellow color paper,
ओके,
like to make it look a little contrast. Uh, I'm going to roll this whole paper. I took one full strip of paper.
ओके, सो द कलर कॉम्बिनेशन इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।
Yep. So I'm gonna loosen it with just by opening my fingers. So you
Wow.
see the coil has loosened a bit, and I'm gluing on the end. And I'm gonna hold on one end of the coil and pull the other strips, like holding with the other two fingers. I'm holding the center of the coil and pulling it towards the edge, and with other two fingers I'm going to pinch it light so I can create a pretty flower vase pattern
Wow.
like that. So I can put a little glue on the back side.
This looks so bright and so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, the best part of paper quilling is every day I sit with colors.
Yeah.
So that's like a tiny flower vase.
Wow, that's so cute.
Let
That's
me
so
show you
adorable.
guys.
So pretty.
Okay. I mean, it came a little diagonally. It's not straight, but yeah. Oh my god.
I think we really got the idea of it, and it looked really pretty, really very
Thank
pretty.
you. Thank you. It's just like I created this like just using the basic shapes. You don't really like, there's no complicated things, but the pattern comes out to be very beautiful.
Okay, this is very interesting. By creating the basic shapes, we can
Mhm.
create a pattern that is
Mhm.
like very unique with the basic shapes.
Yes, yes, just basic shapes. Like there is a little bit of advanced techniques in quilling. I wouldn't say no, but just the basic shapes, you can create magical patterns. It's just about your creativity. How creative you are. How your thoughts are functioning. Like maybe imagine like you can create a sun, or you want to create some rangoli using paper. uh, just like the mandala you showed them earlier, like you if you closely observe it, like you'll see only the basic shapes, nothing complicated stuff in that.
Okay. So the people who are, learning it, what would you tell them? So, you can copy a pattern or you can create something of your own. How to start?
So I would say never copy a pattern from anyone, because artists spend so much time, so much thoughts creating in it, and I would say artists are like a bigger business people than any other person, because they make less money, but they are very happy when they make that less money as well. So it's like they spend a lot of time in their work, and when time is money for us, so you would never offend them like by copying their works. But basic ones, like everyone is, it's a common in quilling, like something like a flower vase, that's a very basic pattern. But when you're going bigger, never copy. Have your own style. You should create your own style. Have your own style, create your own patterns. For me, it's like I keep dreaming about quilling in my dreams.
Wow.
So yeah, I always have a book right next to my bed. So I always, when I get a pattern in my head in the sleep, I wake up, draw it, and then go back to sleep. So when you're really into it, you will definitely get the patterns. For me, it's like if you give me a pencil and paper, ask me to draw something, I cannot do anything. I cannot draw a proper circle with pencil and paper. But give me just the paper strips, I can create like magical patterns with it. Like just leave me, I don't need food, water, anything. Like I live with those two. So yeah, never copy anyone's stuff. Create your own style, make your own patterns. Give it time, some patience. Nothing will happen overnight. So you will definitely get it.
जी, तो दोस्तों निकिता जी कह रही हैं कॉपी ना करें, अपना खुद का पैटर्न डेवलप करें। निकिता जी व्हाट इज़ द फ्यूचर ऑफ क्विलिंग आर्ट? हाउ डू यू सी इट इन इंडिया इफ यू लाइक वी आर लिविंग इन इंडिया? सो डू यू थिंक देयर इज़ अ फ्यूचर हियर?
Definitely, definitely. I have friends who are quilling artists in India as well. It's mostly it's, now we have since social media, which is available for every single person. Like even like I, if you allow like a 10-year old kid to have an Instagram, he will also know what the world is happening. So it's like with the social media you can reach vast amount of people, not just in India or throughout the world. When you create the best quality and good products, anywhere in the world have an opportunity for any kind of art. So
Okay.
it's just like how you promote yourself, how you show your work outside. uh, a good pictures, a good way of presentation is very important.
ओके, द प्रेजेंटेशन, द क्वालिटी, मतलब दोस्तों क्वालिटी प्रेजेंटेशन इम्पोर्टेंट है, भविष्य बहुत सुनहरा है क्विलिंग आर्ट का। निकिता जी बोल रहे हैं। निकिता जी व्हेन यू नो व्हेन कैन वी डिसाइड ओके वी आर प्रैक्टिसिंग इट बट वी आर होपिंग टू गेट इनटू द बिजनेस और वी जस्ट वांट टू लाइक ट्राई इट if you're not
Yes.
able to sell it, so what at what point you think we can sell it or we can think of selling it?
Okay, so I would say I would give you an example for this. If you're going for shopping, you will find same kind of piece in a better quality and lesser quality. All the thing that matters is like the price changes. So it's about the quality of the piece. If for me, sometimes it's like, oh, it's just for one use, I don't really want to spend that much money, let me just buy the less expensive one and finish it. But for something like a bigger one, I would look at the quality, I would see it at it like, okay, this one doesn't have any mistakes, it doesn't have any quality issues, this looks like real skill, artistic skill. So when I see that, like when you're making less quality stuff, you can sell it for less price, but you want to grow big, when you want to really sell it, you have to be like, okay, 10 people make quilling, but why do I have to buy from you? Some people will say, why do I just have to, I see like 10 social media, 10 accounts on Instagram, what makes me buy it from you? Because your presentation, the quality of the work, and the quality of the work is shown, it shows the true love you put into it while making. So it's mostly the quality of the work. When you feel like, oh wow, this looks really beautiful, compare it with 10 other people, say how much better, see how much better you are, and then go for the selling. Okay, don't give the cheap ones before, because people will be like, once, oh, she sells the cheap stuff, we don't want to buy from her, or he sells the cheap stuff. If you want to grow bigger, just go in the right way, make the best ones, create the best pieces, you stand out from 10 or 20 people, then you're ready for it. But yeah, it takes time, practice. It definitely, something has to go into it, because paper quilling initially it's not much money. So when
Okay.
it's not much money, give it something else, like time or practice, like both are something you need.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually that is a very, very important tip I think.
Mhm.
सो दोस्तों निकिता जी ने बोला कि क्विलिंग आपने बनाना शुरू कर दिया, पेपर का आपने बना लिया, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ एक फॉर्म बन गया तो अब हम इसे बेचने लगें, सेल करने लगें। अगर हम कोई ऐसी अच्छी नहीं हुई क्वालिटी और उसको बेचना स्टार्ट कर दिया, तो लोगों का ये मान्यता बैठ जाएगी कि ये अच्छी क्वालिटी के प्रोडक्ट नहीं बनाते। तो पहले क्वालिटी पे काम कीजिए और फिर उसको सेल करने पर। निकिता जी दैट इज़ सच अ आई थिंक दैट्स worthy tip because we got to remember this while
Yeah.
we are working on. any skill, I think.
Yeah, if for me it's like if while I'm working a piece, maybe if I say I finished half of the piece, and accidentally for a single piece I overglued it, and when I put it on the paper, I see some glue like around the pattern I put it, which I left it without cleaning. Just my mind wasn't proper or something, and after a half an hour or some half an hour, if I look at it, I can see the glue blobs like outside the pattern. I'm like, I'm not selling that piece. It's just, you would say, oh, it's just tiny bit of glue. No, but it's
Mm.
quality.
It's about
It is
quality.
quality. Yeah, those tiny mistakes will bring you what kind of quality, will show you what kind of quality you are bringing, giving to the people. If you want to sell like a piece, you make it like you want to sell it for very cheap, it's okay. Sell it for whatever price you want, but you want to make big money. You want to make it. You want to give like good quality service when it comes to business. You have to give the best. Never you all you should think is never anyone should come and point out at you like this piece
Mhm.
has broken after like 2 3 uses.
Okay,
So
so there are two questions in my mind. Like when we're talking about the jewelry part, the earrings, are they, matlab, how long do they last? Because we think it as paper, and
yes.
paper, how strong can it be? So
So
I think you can guide us in this area.
yeah, sure, sure. I know. Like when I put them these sell my works like it shows. A lot of people think it's clay because of the colors, but I have a big sign that says it's paper jewelry. I had to put it because everyone thinks it's clay, and clay is pretty commonly done. Why do we have to check it out again? Look, let's move on. So I have a big sign that says like paper. When they say it's paper, oh my god, they'll be delicate. So we are like spending money, and they'll be delicate. Do we really want to spend money on this? But think it like this way: this is not a fast fashion. This is like a slow fashion thing. And all the jewelry I make, I treat them with a waterproof sealant. So there are tons of waterproof sealants available in the market. So you can use any kind of thing, whatever you feel like comfortable. But the sealant makes the paper pretty sturdy. And this is another big step where you need to get really good at it. Doing quilling patterns is a different level, but when you want to make jewelry and make them seal with waterproof sealant, it is a very big step. I think I spent over a year to do waterproof sealing really in a perfect way. So,
Okay.
and the sealant makes them pretty sturdy. So almost when you touch my jewelry, they feel like wood or some other stuff. They don't feel like paper at all. But depends on the complexity and how many patterns we are putting, like how many individual pieces we are putting in one piece together. You definitely need to give it like some attention, like you shouldn't wear them and sleep. They might crush and break, but like the regular, like you're going for a party. When you're going for a party, you'll dress with a precious jewelry as well. When you come back, you will take those precious jewelry, wipe the sweat off, and let it dry for air for some time. You give it some basic attention, right? It's
Right.
the same basic attention you have to give it for the paper jewelry. But when you go for metal or clay, they're usually very heavy on your ears. But with the paper, like even if you're in party for hours and stuff, like they're very normal. They don't pull your ears down. Like I create some patterns that look like metal.
Oh,
They don't look like paper at all. Like it has a glossy gold or silver finish on it. So which you can replace with the metal as well. So it's like the basic care is good enough for it. Other than that, they're actually, I have like clients who've been using my works for 5 6 years now, and they say they're still wearing the same jewelry, and they buy them again and again because they're comfortable and they're not breaking. This is again where the quality comes in.
ओके। सो निकिता जी ने बताया कि अगर आप ज्वेलरी बना रहे हैं तो उसको वाटरप्रूफ करना ज़रूरी होता है, समय लगता है, उसको भी जानना समझना ज़रूरी है बिकॉज़ ज्वेलरी लंबे समय तक चल सकती है पेपर की एंड वो अनुभव है उनका, उनके क्लाइंट्स का कि वो 5-6 साल से यूज़ कर रहे हैं, वो ब्रेक नहीं हुआ है। आपको ध्यान रखना होता है पर वो हेवी नहीं है, तो आपके कान में अगर आप पहनेंगे तो बहुत भारी महसूस नहीं करेंगे। तो इसलिए भविष्य और ज़्यादा है क्योंकि लोग प्रेफ़र करते हैं कंफर्टेबल होना। Today people are preferring comfortable fashion, so I think that's so that's such a beautiful thing. You don't get like it's a lot of weight when
Yes.
we wear jewelry, so and this way it is sustainable also, so
Yes.
it serves all the purposes. Can I ask you for some tips also to make any quilling or any art stronger?
I think I almost said all my tips out,
Okay.
which is like practicing neatness, um, uh, and patience is very important for this.
Okay.
So
Does the
usually,
quality of glue also is also important? Like what glue are you using?
it doesn't really matter. I just, if I run out of glue, I just go to a craft store. I pick whatever is available there or whatever I see first. When you are really good at it, what kind of quality things you are using doesn't really matter. It's mostly in your hands. That your hands can bring the make the a worse paper available into a beautiful piece. So it's always in your hands, like how you create the perfect pattern actually. So mostly, yeah, I've said out all my tips, I would
Okay.
say. Practice, 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 I would say.
Practice.
Yeah.
Okay. So after like we are prepared and we want to like we want to sell it. So how should we go about it? Like the social media or how you know you went on selling like on social media or you made the website like you got the idea of the website or it eventually happened.
So yeah, this is a big thing. Everyone creates the pieces, how to sell it, how to price it. These are all like very tough things. I would say I'm not still good at pricing it. I just like usually I pricing when it comes to pricing. Imagine how count how many number of hours you spend on it, how much you're expecting for an art for your hard work, how much you're expecting for an art to be paid. Like consider it in that way, and you can price it like that. And when I'm selling, my initial step was like I did art shows, like exhibitions in India. Like when you go to the art shows, when you meet people in person, there will be competition sometimes. I'm so glad so far in Bay Area I have never had competition. So I am the only paper artist most of the times. Maybe once I saw another person, but the quality played a key role there. So it's, I would say like go to the expos, like exhibitions, try to sell there, see the people's reaction, like see how when they see it or when they touch it, when you explain about the art, see the reaction in their faces. um, that way, that is a very good step to know how much are people attracting your work to, like how much they're interested in it, how much appreciations doesn't feed your stomach. So end of the day you have to sell something to fill your stomach. So that for that people have to buy it. See how people are buying your products. Is it worth really spending that much time, or what can I do to make it better? So initially I would see, I don't know right now because of COVID, There are
Okay.
not any shows or much in person stuff
Mhm.
happening. So but for that moment we can say social media. Oh my God, it has given like people to get into every other person's lives or art skills, anything like that. Get on social media, create a good content on it, post some good stuff there. Give your phone number or email address, whatever is comfortable for you, or they can actually directly message you on social media as well. Oh, I buy a lot of stuff on social media just by messaging them. Oh, okay, I like this, can you send it? Like I just transfer the money. So it's like that, like, but when I would say, when you were at a show, I was the only person, and this one time I had another competition, was by a different was a different, it was just one other person as a competition. But when you are open like in such a huge platform, you have hundreds and thousands and lakhs of people as competition for you. So you have to stand out well. What can you
Right.
do with your art to stand out well? Keep
Okay.
creating beautiful content, keep posting them, engage your audience, bring more followers. uh, it keeps alive, like lively content should be there on social media. But these days, and so through social media you can you can reach to worldwide customers, which is amazing. You're not making money just in rupees. You might sometimes be making money in dollars, pounds, in anything. So which is like amazing. So I would say right now with COVID situation, getting started through social media is amazing.
ओके, तो निकिता जी से बताया दोस्तों कि आप छोटे लेवल पे नहीं बल्कि बहुत बड़े लेवल पे आप इस काम को ले जा सकते हैं, मगर क्वालिटी बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर करती है। सोशल मीडिया एग्ज़िबिशंस कहीं से आप शुरुआत ज़रूर कीजिए। निकिता जी, जस्ट लास्ट क्वेश्चन,
Mhm.
बिकॉज़ टाइम इज़ रनिंग आउट, आई जस्ट वांट टू आस्क, इज़ आर देयर एनी फ्यू पैटर्न्स और कलर्स दैट आर इन और दैट यू विल सजेस्ट पीपल टू वर्क विथ?
Oh, color. If you are really starting, start with a magazine paper. It has tons of colors on it, so it will help you. But if you really want to start with solid colors, pick. We are Indians, like really good at colors. We
Yeah.
always live with colors around. So, I that's something I missed after moving to USA. Like everyone wearing blacks, creams, neutrals. I'm like, oh my god, where are our saris? Where are our colors? So I'm glad at least I'm working with colorful paper. So imagine you're making a rangoli, how you create a pattern like with colors, right? So you can, I'm sure everyone in India like can really good at picking colors. So pick any colors, brighter colors usually that pops light, and you can add bits of lighter colors here and there when you're creating. Mm, and yeah, what's the other one you asked me?
Like what, are there any patterns that
No,
you
anything like no
anything?
specific, like basic, like it's all about basic shapes, right? You maybe if you're a bird lover, start doing a bird maybe, or if you're a nature lover, you can create some mountains too with paper quilling, some flowers, anything can be. For me, mostly it's nature and sacred geometry. So you can create like even just with a triangle, you can create a beautiful pattern. So it's up to you. Maybe pick a rangoli you did like long ago, like in front of your house, probably. Try creating the same pattern or create a beautiful sun outside it. Look, anything you can pick. It's up to our own interest. And always it's like this. People, when you're creating something like what you like, what your taste is, what your heart is. But when you go out and sell, not everyone buys it because there are very less people with a similar taste. People with a similar taste will buy. So when you're selling outside, you have to think out of the box, not just with your taste. Think
Mhm.
about like others' taste as well. That is something like, okay, I like bright colors, but there might be some people who likes lighter colors, but they want to buy paper art. So maybe do something like with lighter colors, like subtle colors like that. So it's like anything, but yeah, but just you have to think about the markets, like customers' thoughts as well.
ओके। तो दोस्तों निकिता जी ने बोला कि आप शुरुआत तो कर सकते हैं, जो आपको पसंद है उससे शुरुआत कीजिए, लेकिन जब आप मार्केट में आते हैं, सेल करते हैं, तो दूसरे लोग क्या पसंद करते हैं? आपकी जैसी सोच सबकी नहीं होगी, तो जो कलर्स या जो पैटर्न वो पसंद करते हैं, मतलब धीरे-धीरे आपको आइडिया उसका लगता जाएगा, उस हिसाब से काम कीजिए। लेकिन शुरुआत कर रहे हैं तो नेचर, बर्ड, माउंटेन्स जो आपको पसंद है, उसको बनाना शुरू कीजिए और उसमें परफेक्शन लाना शुरू कीजिए। Nikita ji, we have learned a lot from you today, and it's been such a beautiful session for the people who want to learn quilling and even who are not introduced to this terminology. I think they know a lot to begin with. So it's such a beautiful session, and it's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you so much, Arushi. It's my pleasure to be here. It felt really great sharing my experiences and about quelling. I really wish people picks it up and build this as a hobby or a business or whatever you're planning. And I'm really sorry, I'm not really good at Hindi. I can understand what Arushi is speaking, but I cannot speak back in Hindi. But I hope you guys enjoy the session. Thank you.
Yes, we have enjoyed it, and thank you on behalf of our listeners and viewers as well. And we hope to connect with you sometime in future as well.
I'll
And
be happy. I'll be so happy.
and and thank you so much for joining us. You have such a beautiful smile,
Thank
and
you. So,
it's a very good conversation. So जो भी हमारे दोस्त हमें सुन रहे हैं, मैं यहाँ उनसे कहूँगी कि हम ले रहे हैं इजाज़त। निकिता जी को भी बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद हम कर चुके हैं आप सभी की तरफ से। क्विलिंग के बारे में और जानना चाहते हैं, सर्च कीजिए पेपर स्वीटली www.papersweetly.com पे आप जा सकते हैं। और भी यूट्यूब चैनल्स और गूगल पे देखिए, सीखिए और अपने रोज़गार को अगर आप करना चाहते हैं तो परफेक्शन ज़रूर लेकर आइए दोस्तों उसमें। इसी के साथ लेते हैं इजाज़त। आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो मधुबन 90.4 एफएम। सुनते रहिए, मुस्कुराते रहिए। थैंक यू सो मच।
thank you.